asking, why are so many parents losing their children? Why are so many people transitioning young?
It really saddens me to add this picture to my ancestral altar. When Adoy sent this video to me last week, I originally made a stitch to it that spoke in relation to my husband's son who passed away when he was 14 years old. I really do align with her theory that she's sharing here, and it made me think. I was just like, okay, if this is true, how did this manifest in my household? Because my family has altered our behaviors to save the children, but our altering was because of a child that is still alive. And it's very interesting, the timing, because I published a video today on one of my social medias that actually talk about that particular child who went through a phase where they considered unaliving themselves. It was that child considering unaliving themselves that was one of the wake-up calls, not the wake-up call, but one of the wake-up calls that we need to alter how we are familying in this family. Right or wrong, I told my husband and my daughter, I was like, if my child chooses to take herself off of this earth and her reason why is because of one of you two, I will never forgive you. I'm not saying that that was right. I'm saying that's what I did. And the reason why I did that is because I know that my husband is loyal to me. I know that my daughter is loyal to me. I don't know what their loyalty is to this child, but I understand if they know that they are jeopardizing their relationship with me based on their behaviors, they will alter their behaviors like that, which is what has transpired. And now we have continued to move in a more healthy manner without threats, not threatening my family, but we have changed our behavior. So I align with this message. Yesterday, my niece took her life. And I bring her up because what did I miss? Well, it's not for me to put it all on myself, but for me to come here and now speak to you so you're not sitting in your space saying, what did I miss? Tonight, I will be honoring this young lady, past, present, and future, as I journal and adding her to my ancestral altar. This will be the first person younger than me that I will be adding to my altar. This will be the first person that I will be adding to my altar that chose an exit strategy. Now I'm going to start connecting dots for you as I've connected them, just so that you can connect to. First and foremost, if you're watching this video, you're not watching this video because it's in the middle of the night and it happens on your timeline. You're not watching this video because you have nothing else to do and you're curious. You're not watching this video because you're a loyal fan. You're watching this video because God is telling you to pay attention. First thing I would like to say, sometime yesterday, I just randomly started saying that depending on the purity of the spirit, now I will say depending on when the consciousness drops in, because we always have a new heart, a new spirit, Ezekiel 26:36 or 36:26, we always have a new version of ourselves that is dropping in as we go to God with our heart's desires and we say, I want to be a better person. But we have to understand we're going to God and we're saying, I want to be a different person, but we still live in the devil's physical world. So God is going to drop in that new person, but it's still trapped in that language in this physical world. And so when this new consciousness drops in, it's looking around with only the memories, because that's why you protect your head space. That's why you make sure you stay in love. You make sure you stay in light, because when that new consciousness drops in, if it drops into darkness, it doesn't know what to do. And randomly I started theorizing, when a new consciousness comes into this physical plane and it drops into your brain and it's all the alarms are going off and blaring, and they're overwhelmed. They don't even know where to start, where to begin to do the work that you called in for yourself to do, because you haven't been doing to work to prepare yourself for the new version that drops in, which creates more chaos and misery. And I said, depending on how reactive that consciousness or spirit or pure, I used the word at the time, is to this physical reality, it has a violent reaction. Some choose drugs and alcohol. Some choose just to sit still ignore what's going on. And some of us, because we have done the work, we are overwhelmed. I just went through a system upgrade, so to speak, an ascension. I just went through an ascension. And in that week that I was going through that ascension, I literally sat and watched TV. That's all I did. I didn't want to journal. I didn't want to write. I didn't want to do anything. I was depressed. But because I know that depression for me is just my energy exiting stage left and doing the work necessary to bring in my next consciousness. So I can't be me. I can't be focused. And the new me is coming in and is like, why don't you write another book? Ain't nobody gonna read it. Why are you making another video? Ain't nobody gonna watch it. Why are you working so freaking hard for the nothing? Because when I came to this consciousness, you told me there was something. Y'all told me there was something down here, but this ain't nothing. So for a week, I'm in a depressive state. But because I understand what's going on, I allow, and I'm like, all right, I'm in the midst of an ascension. And I just watch TV. Now that the ascension is complete, I'm writing another book because I've got to get this information and this knowledge up off of me. And this is going to be the book that everybody reads. I'm journaling and documenting everything, filming these videos because this is going to be the video that everybody watches. I'm doing the things that I continue to do with a drive that is beyond me for the past 2 years because something is telling me to do it. And I keep dropping a new consciousness with the ability to take me a little bit further than the previous one did. And because my vessel is prepared, because I am healed, when that new consciousness drops in, it's a little frustrated because that consciousness is coming from a world where when you think it, it's done. Dropping into this physical world where it's like, you ain't figured it out yet, sis? No, that's why I called you down. Help a sister out. So now we're working together. Instead of spirit working against flesh, spirit is working with flesh, and now we're able to move myself forward. That's why they teach us to hate our flesh, because as long as we hate our flesh, we will be in despair. And as long as we are in this despair, some of us will be in so much despair that we will choose to take ourselves out of this earth. You're worth more dead than alive to this present reality. The life cycle is very profitable, especially how detrimental your life cycle is. You literally are born into slavery, work free slave labor. Out of the free slave labor is death. Some of us make enough money to enjoy our slave labor. Some of us is not slave labor. Some of it's slave mentality. Some of it's never knowing God, but believing that you do. Yesterday we were having an awesome family moment. My husband walks in from work and I'm saying, hey, would you want to join us? And he was like, no, I'm going to play with my new toy. I allow because that's his choice. But later I said, that was a perfect opportunity. You're saying here you want to be a better father, you want to be a better husband, and a person who hasn't spoken to you more than 2 words comes to you and says, hey, do you want to join us? That was your perfect opportunity to say, yes, I have an in, and you chose to play with your toy. He said, I'll always have another moment. I'm not going anywhere. 2 hours later, I got a text message that this young lady took her life. So what you have to understand is there's not always going to be a moment. 99% of the mourning process is you living in regret. Things that you should have done, things that you could have done, things that just slipped through the cracks because you always thought you was always going to have another moment. That is another physical world lie. Please stop believing it. The point that she makes in this video that she attaches is that these impactful deaths, these deaths that jolt us, someone dying tragically, someone dying suddenly, somebody choosing to take their own lives, these deaths above other deaths, but all important, are there to wake us up. The idea of my daughter leaving this earth prematurely woke us up. You may not know Danny, but I hope you hear her story and you've heard enough to know that you need to wake up. Stop taking your relationships for granted. Push that relationship 1% further than you did the day before. This is both sides of the relationship. Stop taking people saying good morning to you, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, for granted. Tomorrow is not promised.